I feel like I'm a rookie, but before we jump into this podcast episode, you will hear a crispy voice right this second. But I realized after I recorded this episode that my microphone was not plugged in. So it looks like I've got a microphone on the video podcast, but your boy does not have a podcast mic on there. So I do apologize for the non crispy sounding voice. That being said, a great episode, and I can't wait for you to watch it, listen to it, all that fun stuff. All right, let's break it down. Best ad of 2024, in my opinion. What is up? Welcome back to another episode of In the Cutting Room. We are coming to an end of 2024, which is crazy. I feel like at the end of every year, I'm always like, I can't believe it's the end of the year. That feels very true this year. Having started a family, business is growing, a lot of great things have been happening. Yeah, a lot's just been moving quickly, it feels like this year. But what I wanted to do today was I wanted to break down one of my favorite ads of 2024. Now, there have been some phenomenal ads out in the world in 2024. Most recently, there was the Volvo ad, which, in my opinion, is the perfect ad. It is a perfect ad. No notes, nothing. It's just incredible. What I wanted to do though, even though that actually could potentially be my favorite ad of the year, I want to kind of bring attention to one ad that I found at the beginning of this year that really kind of changed how I viewed creating ads themselves. And it's been one of my favorite ads to continue to go back and review and break down and reference throughout this year. And I still think that there's more from this one ad. This one ad is from Papaya. Now, why I love this ad is because of what they do beyond just this one ad unit, and I'm gonna break that down a little bit later in this episode. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna share my screen. I'm gonna show you the ad. If you're listening to this, I actually think that this audio is just as good by itself, but we have a YouTube video, we have video podcasts. So if you want to come and watch it, awesome. But the brand is called Papaya. It is a reusable paper towel. That's all I'll say. And we'll go from there. So let me just share my screen. I've never shared my screen for a podcast, but here we go. Shout out to my younger sister-in-law, Sydney, who is the one, she's not going to be listening to this podcast, but she's the one that actually sent it to me. And if you have a 19-year-old sending you an ad, that means it's very good because it obviously slapped for a 19-year-old to watch a full-on ad and be like, wow, this is so good. I want to share this. So that is a good, I think, setup there. Now, this is a 2-minute and 29-second ad. Really exciting stuff. And let's see, where is it? I thought I had just. All right, actually 244. All right. And here we go.
Hey gals,
Volume up.
still using these?
You complain about your $9 lattes, but you spend $50 on paper towels every month.
And every time you clean, that money is going straight into the trash. Girl, I'm not calling you trash. I actually think you're pretty cool. You just don't know about Papaya.
Let's say you spill one of your many beverages. What are you going to use to clean it up? Rolls and rolls of paper towels? Have you seen the size of your condo? That nasty rag your boyfriend left in the sink? Again? If he wasn't so good at foot massages, you'd kick him out. The correct answer, babe, is reusable paper towels from Papaya. Then you rinse it in the sink and hang it to dry on the Papaya hook.
You tried to recreate the Hailey Bieber smoothie, but you couldn't because your raspberries went bad.
Again, ladies, line your Tupperware with a Papaya and keep your $14 berries fresher for longer.
Duh.
You spy on your neighbors too, right? Just grab a papaya and enjoy your streak-free people watching. You're on step 76 of your skincare routine and your vanity's covered in water. What we're not going to do is grab a tissue or a cute hand towel. Instead, just hang a papaya. Your sponge has yesterday's avocado toast on it, and you're supposed to be cleaning with this thing? Just hang a papaya by your sink instead. Boom.
No more sponges sitting wet in your sink, starting to smell like mildew.
You can also use them on your children. Wipe up their paws after a walk, or hang one by the water bowl to wipe up their little splashes.
Did I mention papaya makes the perfect gift? If you don't have a birthday party, housewarming, bridal, or baby shower in your calendar, you need to get out more.
Papaya even sends you a reusable gift bag and a hilarious card tailored to your occasion. Did someone say easiest and most unique gift ever? I did. I said that. Let's recap. You're spending half your paycheck on paper towels that you don't even have room to store, and your rags and sponges smell like shit. It's time to switch to papaya. Each set comes with this handy dandy hook, so you can hang some in your kitchen, some in your bathroom, literally wherever you need it. And you thought your condo couldn't get any cuter. Let's wrap this up by writing some affirmations together, shall we? I am a smart woman. I will not spend half my paycheck on paper towels. I will not clean my house with a rag that smells like I will switch to papaya, and I will tell all my friends about it so that they know I'm interested. Now get out of here and go take your weekly everything shower. But promise me this, when you're standing naked and cold waiting for your water to heat up, go to papayareusables.com and order yourself some reusable paper towels, okay? The best part, when your mom calls tomorrow and asks,
So what's new in your life?
you'll finally have something to tell her other than Tinder still sucks and your boss is still a dick.
Honey, don't say that.
Papayareusables.com. Welcome to the party, babe.
Beautiful. I remember when I first saw this, and I genuinely was just absolutely like flabbergasted. I was like, this is the most beautiful piece of art ad. I watched it multiple times right then and there. There's a lot to break down, but what I will say is this. That is a 2-minute and 44-second ad. I wanted 10 minutes. I wanted more. There is no ad that is too long if it's engaging. Let me say that again. There is not an ad that is too long if it is engaging. And they have just shown you how you can do a long form ad and it not feel long and you want more because it's engaging. You can also do a short ad and it sucks and you don't want it because it's not engaging. So remember, length of ad does not matter. It's about what's being said, how it's being presented, and is it engaging and informational enough to make you want to buy. Now, there is so much to break down from this ad. I'm going to start with a few things. One is what happened when I went onto their ads library, because I got sent this ad. I said, this is the most incredible thing. I need to make sure that I save this. When I went onto their ads library, that's when my mind was blown. It wasn't even the ad itself. It's more so their strategy. And if you see their strategy, you'll then be able to understand how they created this ad. So when I went onto their ads library and I saw a bunch of different versions of this same thing, different time amounts, I thought, well, that's interesting. So I'll share just a few that I had saved. It honestly doesn't matter. But what does matter is you'll see them here. You'll see that there's a bunch of them. You've got 2 minutes 29, and then you've got this one here. That's the main one. But then you can do this one here.
I am a smart woman.
So you'll realize that this was in the middle of this original one, and now they're starting here. And I was like, okay, interesting. And they basically will end up looping this a little bit later, which is very interesting. Then you go a little bit further, and you'll be able to see that there's just like,
You complain about your $9 lattes, but you spend $50.
this was the second part, and now they're not even starting with that. They're just starting right into this. Then you go here, different version.
Let's recap. You're spending half your paycheck on paper towels that you don't even have room
So why I'm showing you all this, it's because you can start to realize that, oh my gosh, this 2 minute and 44-second ad is essentially just blocks. Okay? Like 5-second blocks, basically hooks. They're essentially hooks. The whole thing is just layering of hooks. And then they just were like, we're going to basically take each section and start the ad at that section and then just loop it back around or cut some of it, or we'll do a minute and a half and then we'll do longer versions of it. But it's the same ad and they're just optimizing off of like what are the best sections. And I mean, when I first saw this, I was like, this is genius. This is amazing that they're doing this. And I've talked about this ad a little bit, but not in depth here. And wow, I just think that that is a really interesting way to do ads. Now, do you need to do that necessarily? No, you don't. But what I took from it was that you want to be thinking about your ads in sections and making sure that that section in and of itself is a really strong section where it could on its own just like sell you the product, right? On its own, it really makes sense. But then also, if you were to think about how do you think about variations and optimizations of ads if you are almost putting that at the beginning, at the actual ideation stage, that can help you come up with newer versions, other ads, things like that. That is just genius. What I love is that their whole ad library at that time was mainly this ad, lots of variations of it. But what it made me think was instead of trying to do 10 different ad concepts and things like that, they spent that same amount of time, effort, money into just one massive ad unit. And then we're able to design it so that it could be broken down to many different variations. And I think there's something to be said about this, quality versus quantity. They're able to actually hit quantity while still hitting quality because the quality is built on a very great ad, like long form ad, but they were able to design it in a way where they know, hey, we can make many different versions of this ad to get the quantity and optimizations that you might actually want. I think what happens when people do go for these big one-off, ads is that they're afraid, well, what if it doesn't work out? And so we need to kind of like de-risk it. But if you design it in a way where you can play around and have a lot to work off of within that one ad, then the risk is really not there as much. You can always optimize it and change it and find variations to it. I just think that like the way that they were thinking about it was just really smart. And when I saw this, I instantly was thinking about, okay, when we are creating ads, how can we take our ad concept, but then just rearrange those units? And how do we see it as units? Essentially, like it's just all hooks all the way down, as I've already said. And so that was just really just opened my mind to another way of looking at ad strategy and how ad strategy can really impact your ad creation. I think when people talk about ad strategy, they think about what they're going to say or whatever, but they're not really thinking about like the creation part and how that's coming into play. And I mean, they're playing chess while we're playing checkers because that was crazy. Now, the other kind of reason why I really love this ad was that they did a really, really good job of signaling to their core customer, right? As somebody who, loves ads, like, yeah, I'm going to watch that and I'm going to think that's really funny and I think it's going to be great. I'm probably not their core customer, but I could probably appreciate it. And I feel like there are going to be a lot of people who are not their core customer that would still find this very funny. But what I like is that they went to like that nth degree. They put their stake down on who is their core customer and making sure that that was really seen. The personality of that person was seen in the video, was seen in the ad. And all of those references signal to that core customer, whether it's person with lots of beverages, person who wants to shop at Airwine with the Haley Bieber smoothie, water on a vanity, the everything shower, all of these things, you are hitting on a specific type of person. Now, does this brand reach more than that person? Absolutely. I think if me as a guy saw this, I wanted this. I'm like, yeah, let's buy this, right? So it's not that like you're alienating like people that are not this core customer, but you felt like they stood for something, right? They weren't trying to say this is for everybody, right? It was like this is for a certain type of person. But I think more people will gravitate towards it because there was like this contrast versus it being like, here's why you will love this paper towel, reusable paper towel, and then like it's guys and girls and this and that. It's like if you start to be for everyone, you're for no one, right? And I think they did a really good job of just being like, we are for this. This is who our core customer is, and I love that. Now, if you look at some of their other ads, it's not always the case, but I think that they're still rooted in that person, and I really, really like that. The other reason why I love this ad is because this is clearly an ad and it slaps and it's good. And I think so often people are always saying like, "Oh, it's got to feel organic. You don't want people to know that it's an ad." It's like they were like, "No, this is an ad. We are selling you this reusable paper towel and this hook. We are selling you this thing. We're going to tell you why." But they did it in an entertaining way. Sure, they shot it on an iPhone. Sure, they shot it in certain ways, but it's like you could see her mic. You could see that she's like presenting directly into the camera. And I think that it's just a good example that like a good ad is a good ad. Sometimes that can be organic. Sometimes it could just be like, I'm straight up gonna sell you this thing. I think that she did it in a way that was entertaining, which was funny. It presented really well, but it was an ad. And people watching this knew it was an ad. This is not a social piece of content. Like, yeah, it's done for social, but it's an ad. And I think that so often people are kind of get afraid of direct response or get afraid of creating ads. They're like, we want to like, it's almost like trying to trick the person. It's like, don't try and trick somebody. Just tell them what it is. And Papaya killed it for that. They are amazing at doing that. And I think that like how they just were totally, forward was great. Now, what I want to do was I started to follow them and I wanted to continue to see, was this a one-off thing? And the truth is it's not. This process that they do is how they do for everything. So they have a few other kind of core ads that I've kind of have taken and saved. One was like this really long song. I got some creators to like create this song about papaya. And then they did the same exact thing. They basically took this big unit and then they would change when they started the song or the ad and they would have a bunch of variations. So I'm going to show that right now. Obviously, this is not my favorite ad of the year, but I want to now kind of show you how they're taking this same approach to some of their other stuff. Let's see. So you've got this. It's a 4-minute ad. Oh my gosh.
My dish rag is gross and damp. I never want to use it. It's just there for show. I'm in need of something else. Points if it's eco-friendly and compostable. Don't want no paper towel, man. The thought alone is killing me right now. Thank God I went online and saw an ad for reusable paper towels. They are from Papaya. Papaya. You simply use it, then you simply rinse it, then hang it to dry on the hook that goes on your wall.
All right, I'm not going to go 4 minutes there. But then they do another one
I kid you not.
and kind of same thing here.
Papaya may seem like a big cost
This
right off the bat, it will save you so much money in the long run. I kid you not, I saw a 6-pack of paper towels at the store yesterday for $35. This is just $18. And need I remind you that one sheet replaces 17 rolls? That's not girl math. That's real math.
Maybe you're thinking, girl, be serious. A reusable paper towel is just a rag.
So let's talk rags, shall we? They take forever to dry. I hung this over my faucet last night.
Okay, I hate to quit that early because it's just so good. Like, oh my goodness, it is so good what they do. This other like kind of 2-minute one is also phenomenal. I just love what they're creating. I think it's so good. And again, when I saw this ad, the reason why it's my favorite ad was not only was it how they were doing writing and scripting and the shots and everything, but it was the strategy. It was the behind the thought process behind it all. That to me, like, just blew my mind. I was like, honestly, like, are you kidding me? This is crazy. And I know for my team, we've taken this ad and have been able to like really play with it, right? Like we will talk about like doing more sassier kind of direct response stuff. We'll think about it from like ad units, right? We'll start to say, we'll even start to plan out longer ads with the idea that we can cut it down for shorter ads. But the fact that like, hey, we're going to try and go for longer ads first and have that be a really big core ad, then you can break it down has been really helpful. Also thinking about it from like ad units where it's like, hey, we can start with this ad unit and kind of maybe make it more stackable, if you will. Just the way that they have formatted this one ad was incredible. The other thing to think is like this ad is getting like millions of views. Like this thing is like pushing some serious volume. I don't have like the exact like sales volume and stuff of it, but I would say that this is, I mean, a super successful ad from just like kind of the outside looking in and how they're doing it. I would be curious to know if like how it actually is selling and how it's actually working, but for how long it's been running in the account and it's still running, it's like, that is crazy. I mean, you wouldn't be spending that much money on it if it wasn't working, I guess. Now, I will say this is a lot harder to do, right? This is not this thing that you can just throw together. You gotta be intentional about it. You gotta really know how to write, script, shoot, and edit all of that in that certain way. So this is not a beginner's ad, but man, this ad definitely shocked my system. It definitely made me think a little bit more. Now, I mentioned the Volvo ad and why I thought it was like a perfect ad, and maybe I'll do another video or podcast episode on that ad specifically. But the thing is like they spent like $1 million on that, probably more than that, right? They had this incredible director. Like it's like this beautiful ad that also speaks emotionally and sells the product really well. It's compelling, but that's like just not attainable for most brands. Whereas something like this is attainable. Like this is something you could do and implement today. And I think that's why it's my favorite ad because it's not like I'm looking at this ad and being like, wow, that's so great. But then it's like, well, that's gonna cost, $50,000 to actually go and make. It's like, no, that's just creativity at the core of it, right? Because the tools to make that ad are accessible to everybody. So there is no gatekeeping there. It's just good creativity. And I think that is why I love this ad was because there was no special effects or, crazy setup. It was just a good ad with good creativity and good strategy. And it crushed. And it got my attention. It got my little sister-in-law's attention. I showed it to so many people. They've already seen it. They loved it. They were sending it to me. So yeah, this is a winner. This is my favorite ad of 2024. Of course, the ads that we create are more of my favorite. But if I was gonna pick one that wasn't ours, it's gonna be this one from Papaya. They've done a great job of building out their ad account. I've been following them now for many, many months because of it. But wow, I love what they're doing. Hopefully this was helpful. Let me know if you love these breakdowns. I can't wait to do more content, more podcasts. We've got YouTube content coming out, podcasts coming out, Instagram content coming out. Good Hill Studios, we're on the rise. So thank you so much for following, listening, watching, and I will catch you in the next episode of In the Cutting Room. All right. Peace.